In formulating a grand strategy, these planners will need to ask themselves a variety of questions. The following questions pose, in a more specific way than earlier, the types of considerations required in devising a grand strategy for political defiance struggle. How might the long-term struggle best begin? How can the oppressed population muster sufficient self-confidence and strength to act to challenge the dictatorship, even initially in a limited way? How can the population's capacity to apply non-cooperation and defiance be increased with time and experience? What might be the objectives of a series of limited campaigns to regain democratic control over the society and limit a dictatorship? Are there independent institutions that have survived the dictatorship, which might be used in the struggle to establish freedom? What institutions of the society can be regained from the dictator's control, or what institutions need to be newly created by the Democrats to meet the needs and establish spheres of democracy even while the dictatorship continues? How can organisational strength in the resistance be developed? How can participants be trained? What resources, finances, equipment, etc. will be required throughout the struggle? What types of symbolism can be most effective in mobilising the population? By what kinds of action and in what stages can the sources of power of the dictators be incrementally weakened and severed? How can the resisting population simultaneously persist in its defiance and also maintain the necessary non-violent discipline? How can the society continue to meet its basic needs during the course of the struggle? How can a social order be maintained in the midst of the conflict? As victory approaches, how can the democratic resistance continue to build the institutional base of the post-dictatorship society to make the transition as smooth as possible? It must be remembered that no single blueprint exists or can be created to plan strategy for every liberation movement against dictatorships. Each struggle to bring down a dictatorship and establish a democratic system will be somewhat different. No two situations will be exactly alike. Each dictatorship will have some individual characteristics, and the capacities of the freedom-seeking population will vary. Planners of grand strategy for a political defiance struggle will require a profound understanding not only of their specific conflict situation, but also of their chosen means of struggle. When the grand strategy of the struggle has been carefully planned, there are sound reasons for making it widely known. The large number of people required to participate may be more willing and able to act if they understand the general conception as well as specific instructions.